Brazilian woman, why I feel that it's such an important portrait that is part of Intercultural is, when we start to go back in time again, we get to learn from our past, reflect on our present, and hopefully make better decisions in the future. And so with Brazilian women, when you go back in time, this is, when the New World was discovered. And, this was by Spain, but then Portugal was ready to kind of fight with Spain because like somehow they'd infringed on their world territory. And they literally, between these two cultures back in the 1500s, basically divided Earth in half, which essentially meant this new land, which we now reference as South America, and the Brazilian side, which is on the east side, became Portugal's, and the west became Spain's. So, and then Portugal had come in to colonize, and they were wanting this red dye from the trees. They were wanting the sugar canes, but not wanting to do any of the work, right? The labor that was involved to actually cultivate this land and profit from the land, right? Right. So unfortunately, when they did migrate and try and basically enslaved the native people, who unfortunately caught the smallpox, caught different foreign diseases that they just simply had no immunity to. So when either their enslaved native population were either dying very ill or had managed to escape into the wilderness, that's when this is what birthed this transatlantic slave trade route. And we, in America are still suffering from that to this day, and so is obviously the people of Brazil. What I do find beautiful, I was so fortunate to work with Menya, which she is actually the female embodiment of the goddess in the Brazilian culture. So she's highly regarded, and it was such a blessing to have her support. I always try and work with someone who is an authoritarian within the community. I feel like, it sort of, my idea is I'm also collecting these voices of authority from around the world to really show that we stand together in solidarity and peace, that their culture stands with the peace intention of this work. And I did feel like I learned so much from the Brazilian woman, and this woman in particular, as she explained her faith practice, which, they were, Catholicism was imposed on everyone. And so as they had this African diaspora, where they were shipping people from all over Africa some were Muslim, some believed in polytheism, some believed, more in the animism faith of the natives. So this Candomblé faith practice embraces all of these different faith practices, and they've come up with a voice of divinity within their culture that identifies with this spectrum of faith practice around them. And I just thought there's something there beautiful to learn from, that nothing could take their will away from them or their identity, and how they adapted. They were forced into this adaptation, and that they can hold their pride still and honor their ancestors. I just thought there was just such a beautiful experience from this woman.
I agree.